I just got a call. It should be noted, many record labels have deprioritized signing rappers. The focus is now African music and Latin music. Rappers better stop being boring and talking about the same over and over, chasing TikTok's success in comment sections. What Ebro is saying is the obvious.
Understand, TikTok has ruined everything.
Yeah.
Because an artist know the song that blow up on TikTok is not their best song, but they start putting all their energy into that song, and it's only relevant for 5 seconds on TikTok.
Is that so?
All of you are unoriginal.
Yeah, that was definitely so.
Every one of y'all is making the same thing. It's no new ideas, no new concept, it's no new sound. It's the same. It's all the same.
They using the same ad libs, bro.
But a lot of them just be posting throwaways. They be songs like they can just hold on to and do better.
Bro, Drake, Cole, and Kendrick like 40, and we have nobody in sight to even fill.
That's cap. We got Yeet.
It looks like we just have a bunch
We
of
got Yeet.
A-tier rappers, and it's everybody else who they just get a club hit for like a couple of months and move on.
We don't really identify with the artist no more. Like I be like, I should say somebody artist. I'd be like, who the fuck is that? I used to be like, you know who he is. I used to play 3 or 4 songs. I'd be like, oh, that's who made that? Whereas before, when we was coming up, we identified with an artist.
Now, take a guess who's falling off right now. Not a particular artist. I'm talking about the music industry.
Yeah, music's over.
It's over.
Streaming, bro. It's over with. With, you know what I mean? It's cool. I get it, but like, it's over with.
Most artists or most new artists, at least in
Wow.
hip hop, they're being made
Can
by TikTok.
is not the future. That boy is. Stick the beats.
Everything that goes up must come down, and hip hop is no exception to this rule. In the present day,
That nigga fell
it's
off.
extremely obvious that hip hop is a shell of its former glory. There are fewer and fewer huge records, albums aren't hitting the way they used to, and fans are losing interest. For the past 6 months, all types of videos have been uploaded talking about how the genre is dying and listing various theories for why this is happening. This isn't the first time people have felt this way about the trajectory of the genre, but this time it really might be true. But in order to get to the root cause of the situation current hip hop is facing, we have to look at the years that have led us here. So in this video, we'll take a look at the downward spiral mainstream rap has found itself
Yo, is this
over
shit?
the past 4 years.
Damn, nigga, 480p. Shit.
These videos do take a
But,
lot of time
bro.
to put together, so
Alright,
if you haven't hit
that's
that
cool, bro. I
subscribe
fuck with
button,
that.
please consider doing so. Hip hop was in a good place. There was a wide variety of all different types of artists and songs seeing success, and the
Damn,
fans
bro.
were
I be
engaged
forgetting
with
Pop
that.
Smoke Pass.
There were a good number of Billboard Top 10 hits, like Suge,
Let's go.
Tatiana by Blueface, Ransom by Lil
I mean,
Tecca,
like, bro,
Bandit
hip hop's not
by
going
Juice
nowhere
WRLD
though. If we be
and
honest,
Boy, and the most sold record.
there's
in
too many
hip-hop
artists out,
music,
too many
Old
rappers.
Town Road. Outside of Billboard Top 10, there were plenty of other huge
Damn.
records
That song had the whole
contributed
world
to
in the
excitement
chokehold.
Rap had at the time, and these included songs like "Shot of Flow" by NLE Choppa, "Act Up" by the City Girls, "Ballin'" by DJ Mustard and Roddy Ricch, and "Welcome to the Party" in Dior by Pop Smoke. There was an exciting crop of new stars, including people like Lil Baby, Gunna, Baby, Juice WRLD, Meg Thee Stallion, Pop Smoke, Roddy Ricch, Polo G, Lil TJ, NLE Choppa, and more.
Not gonna lie, he just named a
Hip-hop
whole
was
bunch
in
of
an
mid.
exciting space. TikTok had just started blowing up, and the success of Old Town Road had proven it could be a powerful marketing tool. Towards the end of the year, the genre had experienced a tragedy when Juice WRLD lost his life at the young age of 21. But besides this, 2019 was an overall good year.
Damn, 2019. It's 2024. Damn.
2020 started off regular. The Box by Roddy Ricch saw crazy success and dominated the charts.
He had the world in the chokehold. The fuck happened to him?
Tragedy struck when Pop Smoke lost his life in a Cali Airbnb at the young age of 20. About a week after this, Lil Baby dropped My Turn, which did numbers, and to this day,
I'm not gonna lie, I listened to that
best
album.
ever. Shortly
Album's
after
kinda mid.
My Turn, Uzi shot
Not mid. It was alright. It was decent.
surprise
It was
drop
like a
of
6,
his
7 out of 10.
long-awaited album, Eternal Tape, which did
Bro,
well.
everyone knows where they were when this album dropped, bro. Like, I was in sophomore year of high school. I was going to math class. I think it was like second or third period, bro. This album dropped. Everyone knew where they were when this album dropped.
But left some fans disappointed.
I was
and
not
the
disappointed.
beginning of people wanting quote unquote old Uzi back. Eternal Take was an early example of a new trend. Labels were starting to implement a new strategy where they had artists drop an album, then 2 weeks later release a deluxe album with an entire album worth of songs to maximize the streams. Since 2017, streaming had become the #1 source of label revenue, and as the years passed, they had continued to try to figure out how to maximize the new model. Shortly
Man, you
after
got niggas buying
Eternal
streams.
Tape, the whole world was put on standstill in COVID year, forcing everyone into quarantine. Quarantine was a weird time for everyone, especially rappers who now found themselves
Not for me. Shoot. About to be in the sophomore year, junior year of high school. And I was chilling on a game. You know, my friends on a game. Quarantine was no problem for me.
stuck at home, unable to do shows. Some people took advantage of the opportunity to do new
Nah,
things.
Tory Lanez was
Large
doing his thing.
audience stuck inside. Tory Lanez started a regular IG live stream that he called Quarantine Radio, and Swiss Beats and Timbaland started Versus, a head-to-head competition.
Oh, yeah,
between
Versus is
hip-hop
tough.
and R&B artists that started on Facebook and IG Live, and later transitioned.
They had a whole show,
to real
didn't they?
venues.
Yeah, like
As far as the actual music release, albums from some of the biggest rappers during quarantine included Blame It On Baby by the Baby, Wanna.
if that's the
Gunna,
one album I'm
The
thinking of,
Goat
that shit
by
was
Polo G,
trash.
High Off Life by
Where like
Future,
the I'm about to search it
Sugar,
up, bro. I band like Blame It On Baby album. Okay, what? Yeah, it was this one, bro. This album was bad, bro. That was a bad album. Like that album was bad.
by Meg Thee Stallion. Similarly to 2019, 2020 also had a lot of big hits. Lil Baby, riding off the success of My Turn, had 2 of the biggest records of 2020 with We Paid featuring 42 Doug and The Bigger Picture. Life is Good by Future and Drake and Rockstar by The Baby and Roddy Ricch were also Billboard Top 10 hits. And the most talked about and controversy generating record of the year, WAP by Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B, also made a ton of noise.
Yeah, we know why that video went
2020,
crazy.
Meg's name was also hot from a situation that occurred with her and Tory Lanez, as well as 2 other people, where she was shot in the foot.
He didn't shoot that woman.
She said that Tory was responsible.
Didn't they get like
but
40
Tory
years
said
for
he
that?
wasn't, and the situation got tons of media coverage and was one of the biggest topics of that entire year.
Oh, he got like
2019
OD
to
years, like
2020,
hella years.
TikTok's influence had continued to grow.
Let's go,
and
fat
the
guy.
platform was now a legitimate new path to having a hot record. New artists were popping on the regular, and the term TikTok rapper was starting to become a thing. More established artists were also taking advantage of the new platform to blow their songs up as well.
Hey, bro, fuck it.
Unfortunately, the rise of TikTok also came with negative side effects. And as a result of the way content was consumed, rappers began making songs shorter and more repetitive
Yeah, they not
in an
lying.
effort to potentially get TikTokers to make viral challenges to their song. Drake was one of the first big artists to be called out for this when he dropped Tootsie Slide.
Nigga,
In
40
late
years old
2020,
doing this.
King Von lost his life in an altercation with Quando Rondo in Atlanta, and Playboy Cardi dropped Whole Lotta Red, along with
One of the greatest albums of this decade. Changed the rap game forever.
a weighted album that received mixed reviews. One of the more unexpected trends of 2020 was the extreme rate that podcasts began growing in popularity.
Man, they got them Jordans
Up
on with
into
no socks.
2020, there were already a few established podcasts like the JBP and Drink Champs, but a whole new wave of pods joined in the period between 2019 and 2020, including shows like $1 Million Worth of Game, Big Facts, and the Expeditiously podcast. In 2020, the podcast space began taking off as more and more people began listening to podcasts, and more rappers, athletes, and other types of celebrities began starting new ones. 2020 was unorthodox, but definitely not a bad year for rap. But 2021,
It wasn't a bad year
would
for
be
like
the
social
first
media.
major indicator that things were slowing down.
That he was turned, but here's a bell. Everything I know is rich as hell. Right.
In early 2021,
He's the
one
future.
name started popping up everywhere. Pooh Shiesty had begun buzzing in late 2020 off his hit record Back in Blood featuring Lil Durk. By 2021, this record was everywhere, and Shiesty was one of rap's biggest up-and-coming stars.
Yep, till he got
Another
locked up.
emerging artist during this time
How long he locked up for?
was Coi Leray, who was buzzing off of her hit record No More Parties, as well as the
Damn,
fact
that was
that she was
2021.
an easy punching bag for internet trolls. Early 2021 also saw a deadly beef spilling over into rap when Young and Ace, Spinna Benz, Wappa with the Chopper, and Fast Money Goon released a song called Who I Smoke, dissing a ton of their deceased ops on a catchy pop sample. A combination that led to the song going crazy, racking up tens of millions of views, and becoming a viral hit. Early 2021 had a decent
Bro, I
amount of
forgot his song
motion,
Giving Sounds. I'm gonna be
but
honest.
as the year progressed, an alarming trend began to emerge. Throughout the year, plenty of albums dropped from the biggest artists in the game, but the music wasn't hitting the same, and fans weren't receptive to it. Polo G dropped Hall of Fame, Migos dropped Culture 3, and Roddy Ricch dropped Live Like Fast.
That was
But all
2021.
of these projects were labeled as mid by the majority of listeners. Lil Baby and Lil Durk's collab album, Voice of the Heroes, and J. Cole's mixtape, The Off Season, were received slightly better, but Tyler the Creator probably had the best project of the
Oh,
year
yeah, for sure.
with Call Me If You Get Lost. A great body of music that was received well.
Bro, I
by
feel like that
critics.
dropped like last year,
July,
bro.
The Baby went to Rolling Loud and did this.
You didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly sexual transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks. Put your cell phone like that up. Fellas, fellas, if you ain't sucking in the parking lot, put your cell phone like that.
He got the usual cancel culture treatment, including a bunch of blog
Hey, bro,
posts.
you just standing on business.
But things went a step further than usual, and festivals began removing him from their lineups, affecting his money. From summer to fall of 2021, one of the biggest storylines in hip-hop for the entire year began to develop. Both Drake and Kanye announced they were dropping albums, and then began escalating their beef. Kanye built the hype around Donda, doing listening events in several cities throughout the summer before dropping the album August 29th. Drake followed, dropping Certified Lover Boy
And
a week later. Despite the hype around the
Donda is the better album. Longevity. Donda has what do they call it? It's I can't find the term, but it's it's what's that term? Nah, I'm gonna think about it.
projects, most people ended up coming to the conclusion that both albums were underwhelming, just like most of the other music coming out in 2021. The trend of TikTok popularized songs continued, and things were so easy that even Soulja Boy, who hadn't been relevant for anything related to his music in over a decade, popped out with not just one, but 2 viral TikTok hits. The easy virality on TikTok was allowing tons of new artists to blow up on a regular basis, but because there were so many, this meant that nothing was really sticking. There was just a rotating window giving countless artists 5 seconds of fame, then moving on to the next.
Young Chris.
So, a unique situation was developing where Despite it being easier than ever for
That
songs
Cash
to blow
Dollars?
up, there were fewer and fewer new
Bro,
artists
Cash Dollars is
with
hard.
the same excitement the Baby, NLE Choppa, Pop Smoke, and others had just a few years prior. Given the fact that no new artists were blowing up on a major scale and none of the existing artists were delivering the way they did in the past, the charts reflected that mainstream hip-hop was in a lull, with Billboard Top 10 hits experiencing a significant decline from the previous year. Mainstream
Damn.
hip-hop was clearly declining, but there was one artist able to cut through the TikTok noise and blow up on a huge scale. In late summer, an artist called Yeet started buzzing off a song called Sorry About That went crazy on
She
TikTok.
like his bitty bachi.
Then he followed this
Sorry
up
about that.
with an even bigger one called Get Busy. With these viral hits, he was arguably the biggest new artist of 2021, even
Easily.
receiving a co-sign
Not even
from
arguably.
Drake.
Easily.
Yeet was part of a new wave in a subgenre referred to as rage, and other artists like Kim Carson,
Kim Carson.
and Destroy Lonely
Lone.
were all new artists in this lane, blowing up this same year, seeing more traction than a typical artist on TikTok. Also, up in New York, Bronx Drill was blowing up, with artists like K-Flock, B-Love, and D-Thing doing numbers leading the underground scene. So overall, 2021 was a bad year for the mainstream, but it was good for a few underground.
Yeah, the
music.
underground was popping.
2021 was also good for another form of entertainment that was just starting to touch the hip-hop world. Streaming had been a thing for years, but it was something mainly for gamers. However, in 2021, people like Kai Cenat, Duke Dennis, Aiden Ross, Your Age, and Bruce Drop 'Em Off popularized streaming with a different demographic that aligned more with the audience of hip-hop consumers. With the decline of hip-hop, a lot of kids and teenagers who in previous years would have been hardcore rap fans are now turning to streamers as their primary source of entertainment and looking up to streamers the way kids in the past looked up to rappers. Aiden Ross's streams ended up getting so big that through 2021, he had a lot of the biggest rappers out lining up to come on and promote their music on his platform.
I never listened. I
Going
never
into
watched the Aiden Ross
2022,
stream. I'm gonna be honest.
Hip-hop's mainstream drought would
I've always seen
continue.
clips there. Like I've seen those clips, but I
Want
never.
to know how I took my business to the next level? It's simple. It's Shopify. Shopify has all the tools in one place to run your business and design your.
Yeah, but I've never watched the Aiden Ross stream.
Gunna would start the year off strong.
That album was hard.
with Diaz Forever, a solid project with the breakout hit Push and P.
Push B.
It was a good project, but an example of how streaming had been continuing to affect the length of albums. Diaz Forever was 20 songs long by itself with no deluxe included.
Damn, was
The
it?
new length of albums meant that mediocre songs that wouldn't have made the cut in previous years were slipping through the cracks for the sheer purpose of increasing streaming time. Lil Durk's 7220 album was a perfect example of this, containing 31 songs in total, 17 in the original, and 14 additional ones on the deluxe version. In April,
Oh my God, what
Blue
happened to
Shiesty
Virgil?
considered this to 5 years, a deal that
Oh, he only
wasn't
got 5
bad
years?
considering the possible time he could have received, but still meant hip-hop would be losing one of his newest stars early into his career. Then in May, the whole hip-hop world was caught by surprise when Young Thug,
The YSL
Gunna,
case.
and 26 other members
That
of
RICO
YSL
charge.
were indicted in a RICO case that stretched back almost a decade. This same month, Kendrick returned from a 5-year hiatus, dropping Mr. Morale, an album which was successful.
I like that
but
album.
not at
That was
the
a good
level
album.
Of his previous album.
Yeah, that's true.
Future also dropped I Never Liked You, an album which saw a large amount of success, with the hit single Wait For You going #1 on Billboard. 2022 also saw the rise of a few new faces. In July, a Memphis artist called Glorilla blew up with a
Glorilla.
song called FNF. Then, in late summer, a song called Munch by an artist named Ice Spice started blowing up on TikTok. It
Ice
was
Spice.
initially taken as a joke, but it grew on people, and Ice Spice continued dropping and growing her popularity. In late 2022,
We know why she
Kanye
popular,
went on
man.
his most career-damaging rampage ever, which all started with the picture he took with Candace Owens wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt.
Hey, man.
After this, he made an
White Lives
appearance
Matter.
on Drink Champs, where he said that George
Maybe I shouldn't say
Floyd
that.
OD'd on fentanyl, and announced that he had problems with a group of people he referred to as the Jewish higher-ups. He received strong backlash, but being Kanye, he doubled down on his stance and basically went on a press run defending his comments and continuing to make more and more controversial statements that the media was having a field day reporting on. Eventually, things would end up getting to the point where he was dropped from his Adidas deal. Meanwhile, in late 2022, on the music scene, Lil Baby dropped It's Only Me.
Hey, man, but he
his first solo
apologized.
album,
It's all fine,
My
you know.
Turn. And the album had an underwhelming response and was yet another example of an album optimized for streaming instead of quality. In December, Drake
I didn't know he
and
dropped
21
another album.
Savage teamed up to drop a collab tape titled Her Loss, which ended up being a very successful release. Also in December, Gunna accepted a plea deal and came home, and video came out about what he had admitted to get this deal.
YSL is a music label and a game, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the game. You were present when law enforcement
Damn, I ain't never seen this clip. Hey, bro, fuck it. I'm not getting locked up.
Some people argued it was in a gray area that wasn't technically snitching, but the majority of hip-hop labeled him a rat.
Shit,
Most of
he
his
ain't snitch
former
on me.
rapper friends unfollowed him and distanced themselves, the most notable being Lil Baby. The Gunna situation was one of the biggest things to happen in hip-hop that year, and this was more evidence of the genre's decline in popularity. Meanwhile, the growing appetite for podcasts and streaming continued, with the biggest podcasts and streamers growing at a crazy rate. In 2022, Kai Cenat took the place of Adin Ross when it came to having the biggest rappers on his stream, bringing people like Blueface and Krishan Rock, Ice Spice, Lil Baby, and 21 Savage.
Yeah, we all know about that Blueface Krishan Rock
mainstream
stream.
rap slump became extremely obvious. Very few artists even dropped music. The first notable albums didn't come until summer. In June, Uzi returned from a 3-year hiatus and dropped
That Pink tape. That was a good album.
another album with way too many songs that came and went, like the majority of other albums from the previous 2 years. This same month, Gunna released The Gift and the Curse, his first
That album wasn't bad either.
since he told and came home. In order to keep the fans on his side, he had to drop a banger, and this was exactly what he did, delivering a quality album with no features. In July, Travis Scott dropped his long-awaited album
Utopia.
which was extremely successful, doing 500,000 units the first week. Besides
A lot of good music dropped last year.
Utopia, most of 2023's mainstream albums were mediocre, and projects like Almost Healed by Lil Durk, Hard to Love by Moneybagg Yo, and Set It Off by Offset came and went. 2023 also didn't see
I
any
forgot
new
they dropped.
artists going
I knew
nearly
Offset
as
dropped, but
viral as
Dirk and
Ice
Moneybagg, I
Spice,
forgot.
Gorilla, Yeet, or Pooh Shiesty did in 2022 and 2021. The most viral new artist of 2023 was Sexy Red, who began trending towards the later half of the year. By this point, it was undeniable that things were definitely in a slump for the genre, and YouTube channels began popping out left and right, talking about how hip-hop was dying and speculating the true reason behind it. The answer can be seen by looking at the last 4 years. There's no one specific reason, and a variety of factors have contributed to the decline. Up-and-coming stars got locked up or passed. Many artists began making music focusing on streaming numbers or TikTok success instead of quality music. There wasn't much innovation to the mainstream sound, and as a result, things began to feel like the majority of producers were making the same beat over and over, and rappers were making the same song again and again. The trendy 15-second clip virality of TikTok made it harder for artists to build an actual fan base. And as a result, more artists experience the trend of having 5 seconds of their song blow up for a couple of weeks and then being irrelevant in a matter of months.
Yeah, you're not
and as a
lying.
result of all the music being cycled through on a regular basis, artists not making music optimized for social media struggle to cut through all the noise. All of this turned into fans losing interest in rap music. And while hip-hop music has been declining, podcasts and live streaming have been skyrocketing, taking up the attention formerly reserved for music.
And this
Streamers
guy
are
Scott
getting
Jackson, I forgot about
NBA-sized
that.
contracts and building fan bases that match the loyalty of artists like XXXTentacion and NBA Youngboy. The youth has always fueled hip-hop, but these days they're more interested in watching Twitch and Kick. This is definitely not the end of hip-hop, but
Yeah, of
it
course
may
not. I
be
mean,
the
hip hop's
end
not
of
going
this
nowhere.
chokehold on
I'm glad he said that. But I don't know. I don't like the take that people say like albums are too long. Like, but then people complain that people don't drop enough. I don't get that take at all. That's a dumb take in my opinion. I don't think there's such thing as like an album that's too long. I get like maybe like anything over like probably like 25 songs is like too long. You sitting there for like 2 hours listening to the same album. Especially if the album sounds the same, but like other than that, I don't know. I don't really like that take. That's a stupid take.